I really want to talk about like the true and real idea of self-concept. Your soul will be uncomfortable because you are not comfortable with your soul. I'm trying to set up my camera angle kind of to how it was yesterday, but I don't know if I'll get it back to that because guys, that was so perf. I set it up. Like guys, I'm telling you, I was ready to film this video. Like I was ready and okay. Anyway, hopefully the lighting is okay for this video. It's like digestible lighting. Okay. I'm gonna light it outside. Today I have a topic to talk about. Let me just pull it up on my screen. I kind of want to talk about why breaking down to your most like rawest form, your most rock bottom self is actually the starting point of everything. Well, I feel like that's talked about a lot, but it's never like truly explained, or maybe it is explained. I just didn't get it fully because every time I would hit rock bottom or I'd hit a rock bottom moment in my life, I would try to help myself or fix myself or like fix the situation I'm in using coping skills, you know, coping from the trauma, trying to heal from the trauma, like by doing a bunch of different things. So I really want to talk about like the true and real idea of self-concept, and like not just self-concept but like self-manifestation when it comes to self-concept. Like what does that truly mean? Like what does that truly look like? And what does it look like when like there's not like 18,000 steps to it? What does it look like when it's not just constantly replaying your trauma over and over again? What does it actually look like to have an emotional and mental self-concept so that you can build and create what you need to create, you know? And 9 times out of 10, we already either have self-concept, but we don't have emotional self-concept, or we have emotional self-concept and no self-concept. And it's kind of like the separation of these two that can cause, like, I feel like a slowing down or like a bindedness to your cycles, whatever cycles that may be. So I'll go into what those cycles may be. When we look at ideas of self-concept and self-visualization, we must recognize our spirit and infinite life force energy. We got to understand the internet and the world is a mix of millions, and I'm saying like millions of people's ideas and mindsets. So when you're watching like one video on self-concept and you know you're taking in that advice that they're giving you, or taking their advice or taking their affirmations or taking their mindsets on, a lot of times it disregards how your soul has been curated, or how your soul has been groomed or essentially trained to be. It doesn't take into account for that. So you know, we want to jump in and label and embody traits without inner centeredness, essentially embodying a false trait that has our spirit not be able to catch up with what is. You know, a lot of times in reality, it's like you want to act rich where you don't have any money, or you want to be famous but you have no followers. Basically like that, but think of that with a sense of self. Like you want to be confident but you don't have reasons why. Yeah, not everyone has reasons why. Oh, hi. You may want to embody a trait and not even know how you already relate to this trait. The same way that someone may ask you for reasons on how you got so confident, or reasons on how I got so confident, or whatever it may be, is because there's already connection to the confidence in the first place. There's already connection to all the traits that you want to embody already. It's about remembering, if not reintroducing those traits to yourself. When you're looking at self-concept, when you're looking at manifestation, when you're looking at self-visualization, it's really projected in this ideology of looking at yourself from outside yourself. Instead of looking at yourself in a place of remembrance, but not even remembrance, but introduction. I really like to think of it as a way of introduction, because it's kind of like a, you know this, so let me show you what it really is, you know this, so let's really live it. You can feel this feeling anywhere, but let's feel it right here. Let me introduce to you this feeling in this setting. Let me introduce to you this personality in this context. Our souls cannot simply embody one role. As Alan Watts spoke about in his video, God Wears Many Faces, even even in this one reality, or even in this one experience, you are still a life force or energy or a God that is experiencing this lifetime from many different angles. You're living a life that you already wanted. This is random. I'm probably not gonna put this in actually. By breaking down to your core, essentially, is how you get centeredness. As you experienced reality, as you're walking through life, like I said, defining your soul, grooming your soul, like treating your soul to be a certain way, it becomes full, it becomes enlarged, it becomes a collector of some sorts, a collector. If not through knowledge, if not through experience, if not through exchange with another person, you gain all of this. All of this is gain for you. And when you hit rock bottom, or you hit your core, or you hit to your true emptiness, that is when true freedom starts. By breaking down to your core, you allow there to be emptiness for everything you've ever wanted. It is unlike, okay, doing this type of work is unlike a lot of awakening processes, as it has you destroy your current foundation and become your foundation. For example, our commonly known traumatic events can become foundation for many. Either it consumes their lives, or they ignore it and it insidiously consumes their life. In Western therapy, we sit and talk and replay these traumatic events and our genuine uncomfortable times. In my self-made project, in therapy, we sit and talk and replay these times until they become comfortable and digestible. That topic for me in itself is very disturbing, very off-putting. The fact that we sit and talk about such terrible events for ourselves until they become normal for us, almost instilling them in our brains as what we must know, having them become something that we are constantly replaying and constantly projecting and never fully letting go of. But I learned for me that taught me comfortability in traumatic events or genuine uncomfortable events. It made me okay. I realized how disconnected I was from myself and how connected I was to the trauma in my ability to talk about the situations but not feel the feelings. I realized how comfortable I eventually became with trauma and experiencing it. I was less angry and more helpless when hearing about stuff. I think when I stopped feeling angry, I was worried. I wanted to connect with myself, acknowledge and respect my pain and uncomfortability. I wanted to use my anger for something, for change. I wanted to help myself. This wasn't easy and fun or a nice feeling. It was very complex and intricate. You really have to sit with yourself, especially in the smallest of triggers or the biggest of triggers, and really go back. If not going back, just be, because they'll come up, they'll go to you. I'm a very complex and intricate person, but the tools needed and the steps that I took were simple and probably really too simple for anyone to sell on a course, so that's probably why I'm making a video. I was truly at my rock bottom. Like, I really thought I wasn't going to change, or honestly, I thought I'd end up dead. But I think that was the moment that I truly realized, like, this is my soul. As I've been abandoned, as I've been left, as I've been ditched, this is my soul right here. My soul is not what has happened to me or where I am. It is all that I'm left with. This version that I know, this feeling that I know, this aloneness is me coming in contact with my soul who I've left alone for so long. And I began to be able to like take that time and flourish, you know, entirely new sense of being or an entirely new self-concept. We carry some of the beliefs of all of those who play and played parts in our world. We can continue to chase goals based on reasons connected to others. We may want to embody certain traits to appear more grandiose or contrast to another, either in your present or past. Many examples of the average person coming in contact with their core or soul is pictured as a tragic, desolate place, a barren truth that should never be uncovered, as something that we avoid for so long and we don't even realize that we're running from, because this truth and this pure essence of soul is uncomfortable, as we've been taught to run away from pure essence of soul, pure truth. This is true for people for many reasons and has become a common tale for the modern person. In a world that has disconnected us from spirit in our day-to-day and is ignored in early science, we must understand how foreign and unknown our soul is to closeness. Just like any relationship with time, trust, and ease, you can create a close bond that breeds new, fun, and exciting opportunities. We search for love, something as simple as we search for love that we want to give ourselves, or to treat someone as you wish you were treated. These small, very finite things that are constantly talked about but never actually focused on are the true essences of knowing and connecting to your soul. It's always not as simple as taking yourself out on a movie night date. Sometimes it's about genuinely sitting down in the most uncomfortable feeling that you have and not picking up your phone and not analyzing it and not breathing through it and just feeling it. Not breathing through it. Well, sorry, not eating not eating through it, and just feeling it and talking with yourself and asking yourself questions and comforting yourself in a way that puts you in that moment. I have a really good feel, release, and recenter workbook actually in my bio. I used it, bro. Sorry, my bro came out, but I used that. It was crazy. I was definitely in shambles for a good 60 minutes or maybe more, you know, while I was writing and I was asking myself those questions and I was doing those visualization works, because it takes your main senses that you use on the day-to-day plus more to actually come in contact with what's inside. That's how you connect. That's how you connect with the outside world, how you connect with the inside world. Your soul can speak to you at different times of the day and make you feel uncomfortable because you're not going to feel comfortable inside your soul. Making an uncomfortable choice will feel so bad because you don't even trust your soul. You trust your person, or maybe you don't trust your person and you trust your soul. Whatever. But anyway, next time you want to crash out and feel triggered, take a moment to slow down. This is really science-based, and we can slightly shift our perspective and mental pathways related to feeling our soul and center self. You know, you can catch yourself and let yourself know, like, oh, I recognize you. Oh, I see you. I actually, your soul will be uncomfortable because you are not comfortable with your soul. Okay. Introducing your soul. The concept of finding yourself is often used in our mainstream media, like kind of a coming of age story. It's always used for the young 21-year-old teen, or maybe an elderly middle-aged man finding out his true passion, or someone reaching for their truest passion and falling to a deep, deep demise in a horror film. And honestly, what I felt was a lot more like remembering or introducing myself, like I said earlier in the video. When you do foreign things, they can feel new. So why wouldn't your soul feel new after being so distant? your brain and your soul will seek comfort from yourself, from your personhood, from your body, because that's why it's there. That is how it communicates from you. And unlike personhood, it does not hold spite or ego, and so it will always be there to want to talk to you. I wanted to share the tools that I used, and also be here for those who like want to start recognizing their soul, you know, like also feel like they're at that space that I used to be, but they want to take themselves with them to a different space. My neighbors are out, so that's probably a good time to end my video, but yeah, I'll post a new video soon, but I don't know when.